Shannon Sharpe back at it again.
It is with another nuclear bomb.
Yep.
It's kind of becoming his niche, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
This kind of becoming his niche.
I want to talk about that. I think that's the conversation to have out of this. But I will say it was a 2-hour and 55-minute interview, and
Cat Williams was long too, though.
Yeah, it was long too.
Cat Williams is way more interesting and entertaining, in my opinion.
This one wasn't. This one was just
like
as good.
this one. Yeah, people like this.
I'm talking about for me. I'm just talking about personally.
I understand that.
Yeah,
but
I was more engaged. Like even though I didn't watch these interviews in one sitting, like when I was watching Cat Williams, in different sittings, it was like I was looking forward to going back to watching it because I'm like, man, what he gonna say next? What he gonna say next? But like I said in the Dead End Sports thread, like I when I saw that she was gonna be on there, before even clicking the play, it was 3 people I knew she was gonna talk about: Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels. And of course, when I started seeing clips floating around Twitter,
because she been on that campaign for years.
Oprah. So
yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Not in one sitting.
Yeah,
damn, you did.
But here's what I did though, B. I put it on 1.25 speed.
Of course.
I almost did 1.5,
Yeah.
but I was like, I'm not listening to I'm not giving a full 3 hours to this. So I had that on and I was just doing stuff around the house and letting it play. And I will say, B, man, I'm on board, bro.
With her?
No.
What Shannon is doing?
With YouTube Premium.
Oh.
No commercials to stop you or nothing.
Man, that Cat Williams interview was loaded with commercials. Every damn 20 minutes it felt like, if not less.
Yeah, I think they do that when it's like 2-hour plus shows. They really, cause they do that to hours too.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like I don't know if they still do it, but like when we would upload something that was that long, like the lives. Like the lives, they'll load those up. I seen people in the comments saying like, "Damn, it's a damn ad every 5 minutes."
They got me,
like
bro. I paid for the family plan, and I think they I got it for like $7 cheaper, so it's $22 instead of $29. Hey, man.
I told you, bro.
To be able to just watch that, man.
Bro, I told you, bro.
I don't think
you're not gonna go back.
bro.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going back.
The 30-day trial got me. I was like, look, the year before last, like late 2022, I did the trial, and I was like, and then once the trial was over, and I started getting ads, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. This is it.
Once you get used to the no ads,
because me and Ken talked before that, like we consume YouTube a lot, bro. Yeah. Like me and Ken consume. I'm like, bro, if you consume YouTube a lot, get it. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Yeah. And the creator actually get a bigger cut too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they get paid off of it. So it's not like they're getting cheated. I think they actually get a higher cut of this. They get a piece of the revenue.
So if I just click on Dead and Hip Hop videos, it's like boop boop. That's like.
I mean, yeah, I think it'll still count. Okay. Yeah, because it's a different account. So, but anyway, yeah. So it made that viewing experience that much more greater. But so I'll start there. But an interesting interview, I think, with the difference between this one and Cat Williams is that Cat definitely had a lot of jokes throughout, his interview, in addition to a lot of the calling out that he was doing. What I thought was interesting was the comparison that she used between her and Taraji, because like you said, she's been kind of saying these things for years now, and as she said, when I said it, nobody wanted to listen to me. I was just an angry black woman. We all know
fat
how that
black
goes.
woman. She said fat.
And then she
black
added that too.
woman.
Yeah. She said, but when Taraji did it, she's crying. People feel sad for her. And the way I kind of looked at it is like, oh, so and her husband even told her, it's like when you doing that, when you have that type of anger, that vitriol, people automatically shut down, which is true. But there's the whole stereotype about angry black woman, and then you have somebody that's crying, and then you have submissive,
looking more vulnerable.
You're defeated,
helpless, like we got to be there for you.
Exactly. So it's like almost like you want black women in that state, and not one that is willing to fight. Exactly. So I'd rather I can deal with a defeated one,
right?
Because they may take a little bit less than what I'll be willing to offer versus somebody that actually has a strong case.
So she made a good point about that.
Yeah. When I was talking to my wife, I was just kind of talking through some of the parts that I can't fully grasp. Being a black woman and in America. So I thought that was interesting. But I thought the other part when she kicked it off was that she said that she's always been this way. That was the thing that I found, one of the things that I found most interesting. She said she's been this way since day one.
Always been what way?
Vocal,
I believe that.
talking,
I could see that.
always
that.
talking
I
back.
could definitely see that.
I believe that.
So it made a lot of sense. Like, this is just who she is.
Yeah.
She's just the type that don't take any mess.
Yeah.
But when her and Shannon was kind of going back and forth, and I'm kind of going through some of the highlights for me, B, because I don't know if you watched the whole thing, was when she was like, when it was like 12th or 11th grade, and she says one of her friends or somebody came to her about a baby that she said was somebody else's but wasn't, and she went and told, and she basically snitched. And they were kind of going back and forth about, you know, not the morality, but I guess whether that's right or wrong, like, is it your business to tell?
Yeah.
And she was like, well, that's harmful. Like, you know, you're lying to me about, well, you're telling me the truth about a lie you told to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, and then what happens when that kid grows up and then is looking for his real dad or the truth come out? You're adding more hurt and pain into the world. And Shannon was like, man, that's not your business. Like, why are you doing that?
I agree with Shannon. Like,
Yes, I do. But Monique has a good point.
The
She
effect of
does.
that child. Look how it's going to affect that child.
it will, but if that's your friend, I don't think it's her place to go tell the person. It's your place to be influential on your friend for them to tell the truth, in my opinion. But
Okay.
she does have a good point, like you said. And going back to the other thing that you said, as far as her being like that always, I'm not excusing how she's been treated by Oprah or Tyler Perry or Lee Daniels. However, I do think that dealing with that type of personality all the time, it can be draining. So I can't I can't say that what they did to her was right, but I can see, like, we probably all work with those people. They come in, they just all the time is something, and you roll your eyes at it like, oh, here she go again. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I work with people like it. You're like, oh my God, shut up, let the meeting be over. But
You think she's always like that, though?
Yeah.
Like it.
It does.
it seemed like she always, like, even the smallest thing. And
And
you need people like this. Don't
And that's
get
what I was
me
gonna
wrong.
say.
You
It's
need
nothing
people
wrong
like
with
this.
it.
No, it's not.
But
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with it, and I wish he was here. Mike is kind of like that. Like, Mike and I are like two different sides of the spectrum, and like, he's always skeptical, which I think is necessary. Like I've come to terms like years ago to understand that, people like Mike are needed.
True.
Yeah, it might get annoying the same way I get annoying. You know what I'm saying? I get annoying because I'm super positive. That gets annoying to people. Some people it works for. Same thing with Mike. He's always skeptical. Like, and that, while some people like that, some people are annoyed by that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that it's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's
Agreed.
just a
Yeah. I did
preference.
that.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
Perfectly
a
said.
preference. You know what I'm
Perfectly
saying? I put myself in the same. I think we're on the two separate sides. That's what I'm saying. I know that I can aggravate people with how I look at things sometimes.
I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, that's it.
I was just gonna say you need vocal people like Monique, as you said,
Yeah.
right? However, like you said, it does. Well, like I said, it does wear down on people. But
Yeah.
I don't take anything away from her. Those type of personalities around are much needed.
No, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
What would you say your personality type is, Spike?
I'm closer to Rod.
Really?
I'm not. Unless it's amongst a group of like friends or it's just people that I really trust. I'm not as vocal. Like that, and that's why a person like Monique could annoy me. Like always, okay, yeah, but what if, and how about this, and this ain't gonna work. Like that, those type of things are not my personality. I'm more positive and try. Okay, I can just figure it out myself. Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I kind of question that, because I just wonder, like, are there triggers for that? What is the thistle be to release that energy, into the world, right? to people. And it sounds like she does butt in people's business. She said that she's been doing it since she was in high school. She did it when she told another story where she did it before when Packer came in and was talking to the director. He was a producer, and she was like, "No, that's not your job." So I could see where that would be like, okay, man, why are you doing that? But I just wonder if she's like that all the time, or are there certain like triggers that would send her out, where she feels like she's advocating for people that can't advocate for themselves, probably in a tone and a manner in which people are not accustomed to alike.
Right.
I don't know if there's triggers, but it's probably things that's happened over her lifespan.
Well, when I say trigger, not just in her life, but like in a particular scenario. Like we're just recording here and something happens that she was like, oh, that ain't right. And then she'll just say something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like she's a not on my watch type person all the time. I don't not why I'm here. Y'all ain't gonna get this up.
Right. I think she's
Not why I'm
that.
here.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good
I
point.
think she's that. I think she's a stay ready, so you don't have to get ready type person.
Yeah.
Like again, that's just not my particular personality. I'm just always looking for the best or whatever. Like I'm always hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Whereas she's the type of person that's like, well, shit, that shit probably ain't gonna go right. So let me just go prepare for the worst.
Yep. I think you have to expect that one of the things that I would say there's area for improvement for her in that it's like she doesn't expect the backlash that she gets though. It's always like she thinks that she's gonna get it off and people are gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. And,
Like she's speaking for the people.
Exactly. When you have that type of personality, you're gonna bump heads with people, especially successful people like Oprah and Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
What I will say, when I first moved here, I worked in
Cause they know how to play the game.
yeah, they know that you can't do this all the
Yeah,
time.
they know how to play the game, but she not about playing the games.
Right. I met her when I first moved down here.
Who? Monique.
She came in the
Oh, she cussed
store.
you out?
That's what I was about to say. She came in the store that she was very nice. Everybody that came up to her, she talked to them. Hey, baby, how you doing? And all of this. Like, she was very nice to people. I will say that.
Which is why I asked that. Like,
Right. Is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, bro.
It's not a thing that I don't think she's nice. I just think that she's direct.
It's like
When
a
it comes to
stern-
business.
Those
stern
moments.
auntie.
There are those moments.
Yeah. When,
She's good everywhere else,
Yeah.
super nice, but it's those moments that people remember.
yeah, and I think when it comes to business, I think that's when she gets, a little more
Because that's another trait of mine. I could be like that sometimes too. Like I could be nice all the time, but as soon as I get into business ride, everybody's just like, oh, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like they're not. A lot of people don't know how to handle that or take that because they're so used to me being one way. Like, hey,
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
People be like, what's wrong with you?
Not the
Like,
hey baby,
you
but
folk?
Yeah.
I speak. I speak to people. Like I don't have an issue speaking with people.
Yeah.
So when I do get stern and say it really is shocking to people, and that's the stuff that they remember. They don't really remember like all the other little shit I do, but they remember if I said something like stern. You know, So I get it.
What y'all think about her recording Tyler Perry?
Did you listen to it? The audio
the
leak is on
recordings,
YouTube.
yeah.
Of course it leaked.
Yeah,
It did?
I listened to it, bro. I went on a deep dive.
I
so can
wanted
be
to
prepared.
Of course you did, kid.
I wanted to go see if it was somewhere.
Yeah.
Because wow, how does that?
That's what I'm saying. How did this...
If I could guess, so if she shared it with Shannon,
Yep.
once you start sharing it, unless she played it for him in person, like if you send that thing, via email or
it's done then. Yeah,
it's a wrap.
I think she played it for him in person. That's what I mean.
what I
I don't think
thought.
she sent the file or anything.
Here's the thing: I listened to it, so it didn't sound like he admitted that he lied. Like he
Really?
didn't say I lied about this thing. You have to kind of listen to it and read between the lines a little bit. So, I thought that was interesting because unless I didn't hear the full thing, because Shannon made it seem like he actually said it. But what I will say is she is spot on about her husband Sidney Hicks. That's the name, right?
What about him? I didn't see the whole interview.
He is definitely that type of person. Like she talked him up.
She brought him up pretty good.
She said he's a king. Taught her how to
learned
be a
from him and
woman.
stuff,
She knows her place. Put her in a place. Probably a lot of language and rhetoric that a lot of present day women don't like to hear. So I know she probably rubbed a lot of people the wrong way with that. But it's all in how you take it. It's all in I guess how you want to do your relationship.
Yeah.
Because there are, that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, because there are women like that. I'm gonna say it.
Yes.
Shit, I'm gonna say it.
There are.
There are women that like for men to be men.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Y'all take issue with those that like it. Not all, but there are some. Anyway, but she kept going on and on about it. But she said he's very kind of stern, direct, no pushover. So you listen to this interview, he talking to Tyler Perry like he'd been knowing him for years, bro. And that's the thing I didn't like. Not the fact that he was talking back to him, but the fact that you didn't let Tyree Petty really get a word in. Like Tyler's trying to talk, and right around the 10 minute mark, he was like, all right, man, it's taking too long. I gotta go. And then, but then they jumped on him about that. I was like, oh, here come the billionaire. Now you ain't got time for us. Not in that type of way,
really?
but it's just like,
this is in the recording.
yeah. You're like,
Damn.
if you guys listen to it, you'll hear it. It's like, well, I want to hear Tyler really kind of
Explain himself.
kind of get into it. So he was like, well, here's what I'll do. He said, I'll go find out how much you guys were not being paid for whatever the show was. I can't remember what the exact show. And then I'll just send you the check. And they were like, we don't want your chattery, bro. We want you to just kind of get out there and make it right and kind of say the truth, which is what she was talking about in the interview. And which I get that. I get that because then if the story gets out,
right,
like Tyler Perry getting money, you taking handouts.
Right.
You know, so yeah, you got to avoid that. But it was almost like Sydney just kept talking and talking and talking. And when Tyler would try to say something, he was like, well, I didn't even get to the question, or you didn't let me finish. That sort of thing. Just talking over people. It's like, bro, like, it's a conversation. So kind of, if you didn't get to your question, get to your fucking question faster.
Right, get to the point then.
Yeah. So it was annoying hearing that because I don't want to hear Sydney. I want to hear what Tyler has to say because he's the most important person in this story. You know, because he could influence and really change her life in a myriad of ways. So I get why, you know, when he hung up, he was like, man, they can kiss my ass. And I heard the difficulty that he could walk away from, be like, man, them two.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
And I think that's the position that Oprah and him are in. Like, I don't have to deal with this, bro. Like, there's no, even Kevin Hart, like the stuff that she said about him, like, I don't have to deal with.
Yeah, the Kevin Hart, I didn't think she was gonna mention Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. Like, those two people, I was like, oh man, I didn't think she was.
Well, Tiffany was
I
wrong
didn't see
in what
it,
she
but
said. If she said it,
what she say? I didn't see that.
She took a shot at Monique and her husband just out of the blue. During
it was like a Vogue interview or one of them
about
magazine interviews and stuff.
Yeah, it was unnecessary, but you know, you have comedians and people like that, they kind of just can't help themselves.
Yeah.
So they kind of just say stuff, you know, maybe they're uncomfortable or whatever in the situation and they just respond with a joke or something like that. But nah, you have to be careful with that. And then
what Kevin Hart do? I thought she said he gave her money or something.
That shit with Kevin Hart was fucked up.
She said that,
bruh.
and correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't really get to it. She said that he did give her money when she was struggling or whatnot. And they had a conversation face to face where he said that he would executive produce one of her projects.
Okay.
And once they had that conversation, she called her people that they were working on a deal for her. And she told them to tell the people that they working on a deal with, hey, Kevin Hart is going to do this with me. He's going to executive produce it. Once Kevin Hart got wind, he called his people and told them, no, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
And the thought process was, let me do it if I'm Kevin Hart versus you calling your people and jumping the gun just based off a conversation that we had random.
You said that's messed up?
Yeah, because he you know, I think it was a years past and he reached out. It sounded like he was definitely like really looking out for her and trying to help her, gave her some money, said, you know what, I'm producing that show.
And they paid it back with interest.
They paid it back with interest, she said. So, and you know, and it sounded like he was about to definitely work with her, but in between that time, something happened. The gatekeepers, as they say, stepped in and was like, yeah, if you work with her, there'll be these negative repercussions of that, so you don't need to do it. So his manager, David Beckley or something like that, called when they tried to finalize the deal or whatever the conversation was. He was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that anymore.
We don't want. He said he don't want. No, I think he was like, Kevin Hart said he don't want to deal with you. And then she called Kevin Hart and was like, hey, like, what's up? And
Yeah.
like, it's a misunderstanding.
Yep.
Whatever. Yeah.
And he said, I'll call you back. And she said,
They ain't talk sense.
She was like,
talk
I haven't heard
sense,
from him in 2 years. What she said, 2 years? I
2
think?
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's messed up. I think if you kind of lead someone on to say you're going to do something,
right,
you know, and then to renege, at least be man enough to
say like what the situation.
I was going to ask you what you thought the messed up part was. Is that he didn't tell her, not that he pulled out.
Yeah, it's not about the business.
Got you.
Yeah, it's not the business. It's the
respect.
Yeah,
because she started off saying, remember, she was like, yeah, when I talked to him, he was like, you're like my sister, my auntie, like saying all this praising to her. But then you turn around and
But what if you super successful and you get new information after that conversation if you're Kevin Hart, and people tell you business wise like
You
this
can't be
is
associated
good,
with her.
this isn't a good idea. Like you headed this way, she headed that way. You don't want her to bring you down too. And if he processes that,
gotta
he
be
like
man enough to tell her that, though.
I agree with
Yeah.
that, but I do want to say as far as the business changing, I could see him doing that too. But you do have to be man. I agree with
Yeah,
you.
be man enough
You
to
got to be
tell it,
man enough to
bruh.
pick up the phone and be like, you
Yeah.
know what, I got new information. I'm sorry. I still love you like a sister, but this is
like
not
you
gonna
gotta.
happen.
Yeah, that was kind of messed
Well,
up.
let me ask you all this then. Kevin Hart is money, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so far he still brings in dollars up to this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is Tyler Perry.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know about Hollywood? What do we know about capitalism? Would they be willing to walk away from that money because she's involved, because he's working with Monique? Couldn't they kind of help change the perception of her and bring her back around?
If she
Good.
was easier to deal with, I feel like they would have. However, if you're gonna do that, like you said, if I'm gonna put myself on the line,
How am I putting myself on the line? I'm Kevin Hart. I'm Tyler Perry. I'm never on the line like that.
because I have relationships with these people, right? And
Especially Netflix.
right, and now these relationships are going to be kind of rocky. Yeah, I could do something that will perform to make it better. However, I got to deal with you now, Monique, and that personality, and that's going to make it a lot rougher for me. They looking at it's self-interest. I will say that.
Yeah.
However, I could see them making the decision. It's like you said with Tyler Perry. Like, I'm not finna do all of this. Like, yeah, I could go to bat for you with these people that I know that could make it a lot better, but when I'm dealing with you on the back end, it's not gonna be easy. Like, you're gonna hound me over every little thing, and you're not gonna do press because it ain't in your contract. Like, you're gonna do me the same way that you were doing them.
Would you have done press if it wasn't in your contract and you wanted to be with family?
It depends on who I was working for. Like, if I was working for Kevin Hart and he extended that type of gratitude towards me, then yeah, let's do it. Let's figure it out. But if I were working for a big corporation, it's y'all need to pay me. Like,
So you side with Monique on that?
yeah. If it's a big corporation, y'all need to pay me.
I hear what y'all saying, but I'm also thinking about leverage,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think Tyler Perry and Kevin Hart have a lot of leverage with these networks, you know. So, at what point, you know, whose dick's the bigger, right? Like, who's gonna walk away from that? And be like, no, this is who I want. So if you want the deal, you want the deal, or I can go to Prime or Paramount Plus or Peacock or whatever to continue the dick reference. Like, so if you're Netflix and you're like, yo, this is it, this is the deal, take it or leave it, or I can go elsewhere. Like, if they have leverage like that, I would say that they could go to bat for her, or if she's worth it, which is probably where you guys are going.
I was just gonna say, do you use your leverage on Monique though, or do you use your leverage on a Tiffany Haddish who you know looks up to you, and you're gonna be able to mold her more so than Monique?
Tiffany Haddish is cheaper. So,
and she's cheaper, and it's more cost efficient.
Yeah, in business, I would go with that option. But if I'm trying to help someone who I felt like has been wrong, then yeah, I would use that on Monique if I feel like she's worth it. Like, if I see a completely different person that hasn't been properly represented in the media, then yeah, I'm like, that is not the person that I know. You know, so I would go for it.
What would it look like if you told them, would Kevin Hart or Tyler Perry be wrong if they said, I'm not going to co-sign you, but I will give you all the information that I have. I'll point you in all the right directions. You can always call me for advice, but I just don't feel comfortable associating my name with you in public. Behind the scenes, anytime you want to call me, let's do it. I'm going to make sure you always have the best information, and it's on you at that point to make those deals happen, but I'm not going to do it.
Let me ask you this. Are you also calling people saying that I gave Monique your info and that she's going to be calling you?
Yep, I do that.
Oh, so you're going to...
But I wouldn't go into a boardroom and say, hey, me and her are in this deal together. However, I would say, hey, Monique is going to give you a call, me and her, you know.
I think if you do that, that's okay. But if you don't do that, then
It's like, what's the point? Yeah,
I'm cold calling,
Yeah.
bro. True. You know, so, but I also know that the power is in Tyler Perry name, Tyler Perry making the call and saying this versus me. But, you know, if you're putting in a good word for me, then yeah, I think the rest is on me, you know. But I also would like your association, like, am I that bad of a person that you don't want to mess with me like that?
I think she need to act like it. she act like.
So
She should act like she want people participation with it because she know it, that type of personality we spoke of earlier can come off like, oh, I don't need your help. However, you're asking for my help. I think the biggest difference in why I enjoy the Cat Williams interview more than this one is because she said those things about Oprah, Lee Daniels, or Tyler Perry. However, she was still extending a branch like, I want y'all to reach out to me and make this right. Cat Williams like, man, I don't need y'all. I make my own money.
Yeah.
I'm rich. I'm saying this shit because I don't fuck with y'all. She was saying this to get back in their good graces, it seemed like, and the approach was wrong.
she admires Oprah.
Yeah.
You know, looked up to Oprah. Felt like she was wrong by Oprah. But I think she would love to have that relationship
Absolutely.
back.
I don't think Cat Williams wanted any of those relationships that he talked
Well, Cat Williams, I think that you nailed it. Cat Williams is a made man.
Yep.
So he doesn't need any of that. And now they're on tour together. So he doesn't need
she's on his
them.
Darkest Hour tour or whatever.
But she's not a made person yet.
True.
And that's the difference.
But I think
So
she
she's at
thinks
that
she
mercy.
is, though.
I don't.
She carries herself like she's a made person.
I don't know.
Really?
She said she went broke. She said she went broke.
Yeah, she lost. She said something had
When
cost
you
her $10
making
million.
you making $2 million a year. Something happens and you just blackball from the industry, bro, and you don't have the residuals from the Parkers.
Yeah.
Coming in like.
Oh yeah, she talked about that.
Yeah.
How much money the Parkers was generating
Shay
stuff.
making?
Almost like billions or something like that. You know,
She wasn't getting a cut of that or something.
not yet. They're trying to say the show didn't make any money.
Jeez.
She
So
was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
yeah. So they, but obviously, of course, this ain't gonna do it any good because now you have her and D.L. Hughley beefing, which I didn't know existed. Did y'all?
No, I did not.
I felt like they both said some words together. I mean, about each other in the past, and I could be wrong. I have to like dig and search, but yeah, I always felt like their relationship kind of been on rocky for years before this interview.
Did you hear the reasons why?
I didn't.
Did you hear that part?
Remember? Yeah. Why? What's up?
It was because of a game. Would you rather? And
On D.L. Hughley show.
yes, the podcast or radio show they was doing, and asked her if she wanted to play. She consented and said yes.
Mm-hmm.
But she was offended about the question that was proposed. So the question was, and I'm paraphrasing people, but would you rather your husband sleep with a male celebrity, I can't think of the name, with the condom, or sleep with I knew I was gonna fuck it up.
Sleep with like a woman.
It was a woman, but it was a real fucked up question. So I'm gonna see if I can find it. Would you rather? Because I don't want to mess it up.
And see, I haven't heard those would you rather. So I mean, if they always ask messed up question like that, it should have been in Monique's. I think to kind of research, not kind of like know what she's getting into.
Yeah, that's classless.
Yeah, it's like
that don't sound like a question that
Hold on, somebody got it. Hold on.
you should be asking Monique. Like
Yeah,
a married
yeah,
woman,
because she gonna
a
be
married
like,
woman on a public platform.
Right.
Do you want your husband to sleep with a man?
right.
Come on,
She
bro.
like, you know how.
I could see somebody get mad about that,
Yeah.
especially if like they question her husband's like
yeah, because then when
masculinity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fuck, I hate that.
I think she called DL after they did that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yo, they just asked me this question. I don't want them. I need them to take that out or whatever. I think he said no or something at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's somebody's lying.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that, but yeah, you're right. She, she got on her Monique thing and called him, and it sounded like she made it seem like, he had an attitude.
Like whatever, yeah, it's like whatever it is, what it is. You was on the show, like deal with it. Yeah, like that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like loosen up. That's he was looking at that. Like just loosen up. Like stop being so uptight.
Yeah, you can't be that dismissive with somebody's personal life. Like if I call you and say that, you can't just dismiss and go, "Oh, that's what we do on our show." Like, bro, come on. I'm telling you, I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. There's a clip. Hold on, let me see if I can find this shit. But you heard it, right, Rod?
Yeah, I did, but I just don't remember.
Okay.
Because I'll jack it up too.
Where is it?
I was hearing people, Shannon, okay? I didn't know we had so many tender people in our group. Yeah. I didn't know we had so many through the years. I never knew ugly that my attorney had to sit off the phone with your
I probably won't be able to find it.
cook out. We're having a good time.
But yeah, It was basically a, I don't know, shit. So yeah, it was a would you rather joke that was asked, and it was basically making a reference to her, you know, calling into question her husband's social sexuality, and she took offense to that. And that's when she called DL Hughley to ask him to take the clip out, and probably, you know, if I know Malik, and it seemed like we kind of got a good idea how she probably would react it. She probably was going off and saying all kind of stuff.
I got the question.
Okay.
Hey Monique, would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one? Corinne Steffens is super hit.
Yeah. So
she refused to answer the question and called Hughley to discuss the issue. She said after reaching out about the question, he had a less than warm response. That's just how we do it. She said he told her, let me know that for whatever reason, DL was not cool with me.
Yeah, so it's you know, it's at this point it's he say, she say. We don't know.
Yeah.
We know the question was asked.
Yeah.
She took offense and
She reached out.
She was like, look, we supposed to be uplifting each other. Why are we asking questions like that?
Yeah, that's a weird ass question. Like,
well, okay, so you guys would be offended by that too?
I would have called him out on the show if I was Monique. Like it's the thing like you seen with Cat Williams in the interview he did with the lady from down here, Wanda. Like she was trying to be funny. He's like, "Oh, you want to be funny? I'm gonna be hilarious."
You're a comedian. Flip it.
So flip it. Like she shouldn't have.
Cat Williams flipped it. All right,
He flipped it. Like she got roasted in there. Monique could have took that same approach. You funny, be funny. But I also could see how it would hurt her feelings.
She don't play with her husband, bro.
Right?
And then they question her husband. Monique gonna stand 10 toes down.
It was like some some innuendo there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like why? Yeah, why? Would
like we
you
poking fun?
Yeah, and then use that person, Lee Daniels, that you already having issues with. Like that's tacky. Like why would you do that?
Well, that's good. She mentioned Lee Daniels apology. Like they kind of made their
Dame Dad still looking for him though.
I know, right? That $2 million. That $2 million. He probably. I think he paid.
He up on him somewhere. Right?
Yeah, I know you talking about that video where he was on the stage. Like, where's my money? Like,
just extra.
Yeah, bro. I know he's being so extra,
super extra.
But yeah,
DL had a lot to say though.
A lot
to say. So he disputes the contract stuff, and apparently he's been talking since. So
going at family members, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Monique did apologize on stage for bringing the kids, and I actually heard it.
Oh,
so
she
did do that.
Okay.
You know, but she did cross the line because you can't say talk about family members are off limits or whatever, and then you do.
And then you
yeah. So, but to her credit, she did apologize. I haven't seen DL saying anything about her, but I don't really follow these two like that. Like who does? You know, so
I didn't even realize he still had a daily show.
Man, I didn't know.
I was like, damn, DL got a radio
show. I
show.
don't know either.
Didn't
you know. So
my short take on the whole Kevin Hart Monique thing is that I don't know, man. With a lot of this, and I feel the same thing about Cat Williams too. But like, for me, I don't have enough information. Like, I don't have enough information to take sides with a Kevin Hart or a Monique. You know what I mean? Because like, obviously, he has good intentions, right? He lended them money before him, and that's a fact, right? So in my mind, why does that person change? Like why you know what I'm saying? Like how is he not the same person that helped you before? So what happened?
Yeah, I think Shannon asked that. Like, so what? What transpired from that time to?
Because what makes a person different? If I'm your friend one day and I go out and help you, and then all of a sudden I'm not helpful towards you, like, did I just miraculously change my personality? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, I don't understand. Like,
that's what Shannon.
That situation. You know,
like, what transpired?
It's just kind of I feel like something happened. I mean, obviously something did happen with the powers that be. You know, saying like, look, you know, you can't do this. You know, bad for business. Blah 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 blah. I just don't understand why Kevin Hart wouldn't have that additional conversation.
Right.
To be
man
like,
enough to tell her.
You know, whatever. So I don't know.
I think to me, and to piggyback off it a little bit, she lacks and where I think a lot of people have issues with her, she lacks like grace for people.
Boom. That. Oh man, you're like in my head. Yes.
Because like you just said, I gave you this money, even though you paid it back with interest. And we haven't talked in 2 years. That all of that's foul. But how does it get to where you on Club Shay Shay now? You talking about me and I'm a bad person. I helped you out in a time of need.
And it seems like a running theme with her,
right?
About everyone. It's like it seems like everyone at some point was willing to help you, but then as soon as they don't or they're not capable of it, now it's an issue.
Yep. And now
so it's like, damn, like yo, what? Like it seemed like you're the common denominator here. You know what I'm saying? Like people are willing to.
Yep.
You know, because I'm sure, like, I mean, Monique's been around for a long time, and I'm sure all of these people have looked up to her at some point, and also, like, you know, commended her for the stuff that she's done.
Respect her work
in the industry. So it's something else that's going on here, and it's either her, she's the common denominator, or it might be her husband that's the common denominator. Like,
is he her manager?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's her manager. Yep. And the things I know about managers are they're assholes.
He comes across as one.
Like they're assholes, and then it makes people not want to deal with you. I mean, we had a situation with the rapper LP, and we was just trying to get to him to do the interview. We knew he wanted to, but we had to go through his manager, and like his manager was so fucking rude. You would think that LP really didn't want to talk to us.
Yep.
And like, but just so happened LP saw us. And it's like, oh no, y'all come back or whatever. We had to go like we would have never got to him if it was left up to his manager. Yeah. We would have never got to him, but he was excited to talk to us. But he would have never known that we was trying to how hard it was for us to get to him because it's a manager.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. They can really
ruin the face of your representation can ruin
because we could have left there like, damn man, LP's an asshole. Right? What the fuck?
Yep. And I think you said something important too. It's like with Kevin Hart and giving her the check, or even how you said something important about how people extend like a additional level of help to her.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine anyone else's manager talking on the phone to Tyler Perry for 10 minutes. Like he probably has people that do that for him. But since this is Monique, and I respect her career, like you're saying, I have this conversation with your husband. But now he's trying to berate me and big dog me for a 10 minute. Like, get off my phone, bro.
Like,
get off my phone.
I don't have to do this. And I know you said that earlier. Like, I don't have to do this. I'm doing this because I have respect
for you,
and for Monique.
She ain't taking that into account.
Yeah, you're not taking that into account. It's like, yo, you're talking to Tyler Perry that can be doing anything. Anything. He does not have to be talking to you. He just doesn't. He's not obligated.
Yep.
So it's just like, yo, like, come on. I would be frustrated. You know what I'm saying?
I would too.
10 minutes is a long conversation with somebody you don't want to talk to.
Because y'all know who I talked to that time. And I was like, I was on the phone with this person for an hour. And I'm like, I don't have to do this. Like, and you just talking shit. You know what I'm saying? About me and my crew.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have to do this. Like, and so I have no desire to deal with this person after that. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same shit.
Yep.
And I have respect for this person.
And that's why you had the conversation in the first place.
Exactly. Exactly.
Year of truth telling. We probably need to call some folks out.
I know.
Shit.
I know. We need to go on Shay Shay.
Shay Shay. Have a club Shay Shay.
We need to go on Shay Shay.
Name some names, bro.
Speaking of,
got names.
Yeah, because hey, that person ain't helping or hurting us if we say it. If we say the name, it won't definitely hurt us. But we're gonna shut down here.
Right.
Right. What I will say, Rod, about that is they definitely were talking down because he was like, well, I'm busy. I got other stuff to do, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, you should have called at a time where you weren't busy. Bro, it was crazy, bro. It was like, you called us. So if you knew you didn't have time, I think maybe it was something to do with his daughter, but you should have called when you had more free time. It was just like, wow, bro. Like, what are y'all, like, what? Like, how are you talking to this man like that?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. And I man, you hear what I'm talking about. Sydney Hit sounds like he's a handful.
I would say, speaking of Club Shay Shay, I know you say with the truth tellers, like, is this the brand that's
niche now?
Yeah, this is niche now. Like, is this it?
So I see people saying that. It was said in our chat, right?
Williams.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
Yeah. Who
He's the
said
what?
that?
New Wendy Williams.
I think that's an unfair characterization. in part because wasn't Wendy saying a lot of these things?
Yeah,
Right.
she was the
Shannon
the
just sit there
instigator.
and he just let them
Shannon
let
ain't
them
instigate,
vent.
right?
Yeah, he just
You got
gives you a
something to say, I'm gonna
microphone,
let you say
bro.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wendy
Wendy
didn't
Williams
have-
like, I heard this.
Yeah. And you did this,
Yeah,
and you was
did
doing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. This isn't a gossip channel.
No.
You know, they just go on there and they say what they feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's how I look at it. So I don't look at it, you know, in the way that he characterized it.
How has it turned into this? I haven't kept up. Like last thing I knew, Shannon Sharpe was a sports analyst.
Right.
How did he turn into this thing? Like I don't understand.
He got into a contract negotiation with Fox,
Okay.
and they couldn't come to terms, so he left there.
Mm-hmm.
And from leaving Fox, he wanted to expand his profile. So of course, he still does the sports thing on ESPN, but the podcast was an opportunity for him to show his personality more, to grow into this
Right.
interview style.
Some of the stuff
I'm
that's
not
seeked
just
out in the
football,
sports
it's just
stuff.
seeked out.
'Cause
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got you. So he just expounded on
Yeah.
that more.
It was very purposeful too. You could tell, like it wasn't. Oh, I slipped up on it. Like he was taking
with the
this
blunts
route
and stuff. Like he had like
exactly.
not blunts.
He
but,
been
you
had
know,
club
the
Black
cigars,
Miles
Black
and the
Miles
Hennessy,
stuff.
like
He
was
been had
trying
Club
to do
Shay
that.
Shay.
Yep.
Yeah, he had Club Shay Shay for a minute. You know what
So
I'm
it's his
saying?
brand anyway.
Yeah, he been at it. Yeah.
And then Cat Williams kicked the dough down for like,
Yeah,
this what we doing. over
Yep,
here.
the Cat Williams was like,
Yeah.
damn,
So that was it.
that was it.
That was the
bruh.
turning point.
That was
Wow.
it.
Because
Yeah.
I thought other ones were coming on the show.
They had before, but it didn't hit. It didn't hit like
Yeah.
because none of them were really up there to air anyone out. Cat Williams came up there in response to all of them being up there.
Right.
Like, nah, ain't none of this shit true.
Yeah, Club
Y'all
Shay Shay was more like, hey, come in, kick
chill
it,
with
have
me,
something
we
to
finna
drink.
have a drink.
Yeah,
I want to just
you know,
talk to you
yeah,
about your career
yep.
and how things
That's
are
it.
going and how you got here. And he was trying to do that with Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Cat like, nah, I'm not even here for
I'm
that.
not even
bro.
here for all
I
that,
don't want
bro.
none of your
Yep.
little questions off your cue cards. Throw that shit away.
He always go off the
Yeah, throw that
off
shit
the
away.
rail.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like it's starting to be the
Yeah, it's
safe
like,
space.
I wanna do
but I
what
mean,
Cat
he had
Williams
Usher
did.
on there before Monique, and that Usher wasn't on no.
Yeah, he wasn't on no stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know all this stuff was going on with comedians. I didn't even know. Like I didn't know.
Comedians don't like each other like that.
That is crazy. I did not
Yeah.
realize that.
It can get messy. Good that, and I know a lot of this just from listening to the Mark Maron podcast. I know I said for
Joe
those
Rogan
of
says the
us-
same thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep. So that's how I
Is
know
that?
about that culture in that community.
How Joe explains it is there were very few opportunities for comedians, so they have to be very competitive with each other.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Because when you look back, it's always just one or two a shit. Sometimes
get a
just
show.
one popping at the moment in time.
Yep, that's what he said. He
Like,
said that's
that's
how.
so
and
wild.
he said it just trickles down.
It's
Throughout
almost
the
like-
whole community.
It's almost how it was in the hip hop industry with women. It's always
Exactly.
just
Same
one
thing.
that's
It can be up
popping.
there at one
You know what I'm
time.
saying? One at a time. So
Let,
it's very
let
competitive.
me ask y'all this: do you think? Because Chris Spencer was on Stephen A's show talking about the Cat Williams and Monique situation, saying like he was saying like Cat Williams. He said that's fine that we talk about it, but he said he making it seem like putting it out there for pretty much white folks to see like why all the black comedians are out here going shooting each other down, going at each other, but we never hear nothing about the white like we never heard this in the white comedian space.
Yeah, somebody
That's
said that.
interesting.
Somebody
Yeah.
had that comment.
So Chris Spencer, he made an interesting point. Like he said, yeah, normally we talk about it on the plane, if we out to eat, if we, it's in behind closed doors. Stuff that Cat Williams would say would be in the confines of other comedians or behind, at other shows or whatever backstage, but not like this, not on these big platforms.
I
now.
think it was Chappelle that said something like that about. He's like he didn't talk about any of the white people.
Yeah, I heard.
Something
Yep,
like
I remember
that.
you talking about. Yeah.
They do it though. I know
But
Joe Rogan.
I think to Chris Spencer's point, yeah, they do it,
Yeah.
but
It
it
don't
ain't
get
getting
like
10
this.
million,
That's-
8 million
that's
views
true.
in 24 hours.
That's true. Because Joe
I
Rogan
think-
called out a comedian for like stealing jokes or whatnot. And that was a feud that they had for a while, and people would keep. To your point, people would keep asking Joe about it. He was like, I don't want to talk about it. I've said what I had to
See?
say about it.
See?
Yeah, so yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
everyone
think Chris
can-
Spencer made an interesting point
That
about
is
it.
an interesting
or
point.
whatever. Yeah.
Monique went on and on, kind of in that same lane. She kept referring to our community, my community, uplifting, and this, that, and the other. And I'm really starting to really kind of process and think about that. I think we've been brainwashed into taking on a lot of that stuff, and we got to kind of really reprogram ourselves into recognizing that this shit just don't happen here. We
Yeah.
conversation we had
Last
about
week,
last week.
I said
Somebody
think
said they wanted to be a Latino. Who was it?
Tyrese.
yeah.
I think you replied to my tweet when I was like, this whole black man versus black women shit I'm
Brainwash,
seeing.
yeah.
On,
I hate it. I hate it. I think that's.
I do not like seeing that shit. Man. I'm so sick of seeing it.
Yep. I think that's social media. I think that's warfare that's being put out there. You know, it don't take much.
Why do y'all think we fall more successful, or however you say the word, to that? Like, you don't really see other communities buying into that, but we, whether it be on social media, we buy into that black man versus white woman, versus black woman thing.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like we latch on to it more so.
There's opportunities. I think things that, feeling like it's only space for certain amount of us. The whole crab in the barrel mentality. Like, I think the community is so used to not having that, and not only not having, but only giving an opportunity to some. And then, like, because we can't give it at all, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in black people's mind, that's what we think. We think, like, well, they ain't gonna let all of us up in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna let all of us win. Because they let all of us win. Now it's gonna be like a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna let a certain amount of y'all in at a time. And I think black folks' mentality is that, like, they make it seem like we all, like, it's the American dream, but nah, they're not gonna let us all just prosper. So I think I think black people internalize that and don't know how to, or even used to just helping each other.
I got an interesting statistic about that. I can bring up later once we get over this.
Which I think is rooted in slavery, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can easily trace that back. Which I think another thing, and I think we'll move off of this, but because I'm still processing. Like, I've been bringing it up slowly here and there, but I'm still really trying to read and process, like, and my thoughts on that before I have a full conversation about it. But she was talking about family. Mm-hmm. One of the things she opened up, and then Shannon, I got to meet Shannon's grandmother. I know she's probably gone, but he should write a book about his lives.
All the quotes and stuff that she been
hitting with. But it was one about family sticking together, and she was like, nah, I don't believe in that. And he was like, well, my grandmother said teeth fall out and something else fall out, but family don't. And that I do feel is definitely a black thing, where we were like, man, this is all we got. And I think, again, that is rooted in slavery, because you can easily look at all the stories told where we were split apart. So, and one day, like, I was reading 12 Days of Slave, right? And you could see the stories that she was telling about, the situation that she was living in. Right. So when you finally get a chance to have your family around, no matter how fucked up they are, you kind of holding on to that, because there was a time where they were taken away from you. See, so we at one point we didn't have a choice. Now we have a choice. White folks always had a choice. So when they parents or whatever, or cousin-in-law, whoever, start fucking up, like, fuck this shit, I'm out of here. I ain't got to deal with this shit. And they bounce. So I think that's why.
Mom.
Yeah, exactly. And how do we look at it? We're like, oh, we couldn't do, like, we have reactions to that.
You're like, hell no, you talking there like that?
I love my mom.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't care if she beat me, but our reaction to that is stems from that. So, so I'm kind of with Monique a little bit. It's like we got, it's 400 years of it's a lot. Like we mentally, physically underwent a lot of things that have been passed on. But I'm thinking about now, like, and I can't remember the example, but I was talking to my wife. I was like, man, the things that I used to hear growing up about black, I don't even say that to my kids. So they're not gonna hear those sort of things. Growing up, like, they don't hear it in the household. The only way they hear it is from their peers. So I'm not passing that sort of trauma to them. From my other generations that were passed on to them, and so on and so on. So it's slowly starting to being broken, but it's just gonna take time. So yeah.
Damn.
So but yeah, man, it's interesting. hey man, y'all know I'm loving this year. This is great.
You like the mess. You want the mess, King. You want the mess.
Hey, I was telling them last night, the morning show, I'm finally on episode 4 or 5, and it's just full of mess.
The mess.
But so what I want to do, and I hadn't seen Rod, is I want to go look at white and black, brown communities, because I gotta it's not on I don't exist in those worlds, so I don't see it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's out there. Maybe if my timeline was filled with them, that
probably so. Yeah. We're so enriched.
But
in our
you also
community.
know that blackness drives culture.
Yes.
For a lot of different ways. And, this sort of stuff is just going to move the needle. What was you going to say, bro?
I was going to say, I know you say you like the mess and everything. Do you think the mess is ultimately beneficial? Like, do you think it's like, okay, we're gonna put this out here and we gonna fix it?
Yeah, I think no harm, there's a lot of harm and folly going on.
But sometimes it takes that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes the tough conversations in order to move forward. Because you can play nice all day. You can, and it never really internally goes anywhere. It just stays very surface level. But when you get deep in that cut, it's like, all right, come on, okay, we gotta sit there. We gotta unwrap this. Like we gotta. So I'm on the fence about it because like I said with the Cat Williams thing, I was like, why is this necessary or whatever? Like I don't want to see this. You know what I'm saying? but it did ruffle some feathers, and I think it gets people to thinking and it gets people to talking, and now like maybe you can now see your faults that you might not have seen before. And now you can unpack this thing because it's out there now. You know what I'm saying? Now you can really unpack and kind of get to the bottom of things and maybe correct what was broken or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I think it can be beneficial.
I agree. The conversation started at least.
Yeah, it's kind of like therapy, right? Yep. Like when you gonna say some really hurtful shit. You gonna say some really tough shit, but you got to
get it out.
Yep. Damn, Jay had the line. He just said, what did he say?
In his speech?
Oh, not in his speech. Okay. He was like something about until you reveal it, you can't heal it or something like that. I don't remember the actual quote, but it was when they was going through the whole thing with Beyonce. And he's like, I can't heal it until it's actually, till
I get it out there.
Like, put it out there. So, I think it's kind of like that.
It's something about hearing yourself say it or hearing someone that you care for say it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think, to what you said, what we forget as black people is how much we do drive culture. And you said something important. It's like you'll go look for the white mess or the brown mess or whatnot. Since we have the sauce, we don't never have to go looking for mess with it unless, like you said, you want to. Everybody, since we do drive culture so much, they get to see our mess because it's promoted out there, and it's so much like we drive everything so much that people are always looking at us.
Yep.
And for us, if we have to choose to get outside of that box and go, let me go see what these white folks got going. And a lot of us don't want to do that. Like, we don't care. We got everything. We got all the sauce right here. We don't need none of y'all sauce. So I think a lot of us look at it that way.
That's what he said. You can't heal what you don't reveal, is what he said. It's the quote. And so now that all this stuff is revealed, now it can be healed. Yeah, it's messy and it's entertaining, but it also puts everything out there to be healed and addressed, right?
Yeah. And I feel like it's rooted in a truth, a truth that Kat and Monique have, and it's up to them to respond. And Kat, a lot of them didn't. And Monique was like, hell no, she's lying. So he's fighting back. He's doing an approach that nobody else did. And he's trying to get his version out, and then it's up to you to believe who you believe. It would be nice, as we've said all the time, hey man, if y'all doing this, just hop on a call now at this point. Call her or Monique, you call him.
Yeah, why everybody else got to be involved with
or make
public conversation.
Shit, honestly, Monique, maybe you telling them to come on Club Shay Shay and asking for them. How about you reach out too? Yeah. Try to mend these broken fences that has happened since you care so much about uplifting communities and families and stuff like that.
That's a fair
Take
point.
action yourself to be the bigger person. And if they don't take your call, maybe you can put that out. Say, look, I did try.
I tried. I did.
Yeah, exactly.
I think in a way that she thinks she's doing that with this. Because she's even said in the show that like, yo, I'll come back. I'll sit down right next to him or something like that. She said, I forgot who she was talking about.
Probably Tyler Perry.
Yeah, it was. I think it was all three or whatever. Yeah.
But
How do you look at that if you Tyler Perry, you Oprah, like we were saying earlier? Like I don't want to talk to you on Club Shay Shay. We can have a conversation. Like you can come to the house, I'll fly you out, or we can have a phone conversation. But I don't want to do this on this public platform just for you to get off because you feel like you're wrong.
Yeah, I seriously doubt they would do that.
Yeah,
they
would never do that.
Yeah, they have way like it benefits them in no
way,
kind of way.
Right.
No way.
You know, because right now, who looks like the bad person? Monique.
Still,
you know,
even explaining herself.
Yeah, because what are people saying? It's like I think she had a good example in the interview because somebody asked her why did she. Never mind, I can't. You have to watch it, but people are saying we already know this. Mm-hmm. So here she go again. Here go Monique
we heard
again.
this 3 years ago.
Trying to get her Cat Williams on,
calling her bitter.
Yep, bitter instead of really listening. You know, what's the difference between Cat and Monique? Is you haven't heard Cat say it before, but they're both telling you things that they perceive as true and that they say they have receipts for. Yeah. So I think that's another difference. Like, so they have sort of receipts and evidence to back these claims that they're saying. They're just not saying it. And that's why I think this is a little bit different because it's gossipy to a degree, but they have proof of some type of evidence that, you know, these things that these claims they're making are true. So, but if it's just hearsay, she say, well, you know, to a certain degree, that's insane. I'm more of a pragmatic person, Spike. Mm-hmm. Like give me the evidence, the science and stuff like that, or something kind of guide me into this, like, you know, and then I can make a decision from there. So but yeah, I don't know, but I think the last thing I'll say is about the culture and the sauce and this, that, and the other. I think is almost to a certain degree like Pandora's box. Mm-hmm. Maybe or may not, I'm doing this in real time, but that's psychological warfare. Mm-hmm. And that traces back to imagery and portrayal of black people on screen that goes back to that book Donald Bogle, Tom's Coons, Mammies, Mulattoes, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. You know, and they put all of these negative stereotypes, these imageries out there to the people, and now it's like we can't put it back in the box.
That's what we believe in.
You know, so that's why it's so consumed, because this is what they created. They created the system to make black people look in a negative light, but it's also becoming entertainment in a lot of different ways. Motown, Death Row, et cetera, like hip hop, Motown, hip hop, all this other stuff. And we were like, man, these guys got it, bro. Yeah. And, you know, so yeah. So I think it goes both ways, but, you know, it's one of those things where they created to control how white people perceive it, starting with Birth of a Nation and moving forward. So, you know, they created it. Huh. So now how can we take control of it and really start to change perception? Because at some point, they're going to be wiped off the face of the earth.